Welcome to another episode of Honors Spotlight, where we highlight the unique paths and passions of MTSU honors individuals. I'm your host, Robin Lee, and today's episode is all about transformation through music, faith, and personal growth. Joining me is Alex Roberecki, a recording industry major from Canada with a minor in entrepreneurship. Alex isn't just writing songs, he's using his music to share his story of redemption and the powerful role faith has played in reshaping his life. From facing a destructive lifestyle to discovering purpose through his art and relationship with God, Alex opens up about the healing power of music, the support he's found in the Honors College, and how his creativity continues to evolve. You don't want to miss this inspiring conversation. So Alex, let's start by getting to know you a little bit. How did a student from Canada end up in Tennessee studying commercial songwriting?
Well, interestingly enough, it was from another podcast. An alumni, Hardy, country artist, was doing a podcast with another songwriter, and I was listening at the time to a lot of different songwriting podcasts to learn how to get better at writing songs and how the industry works. And he said that MTSU was a really big help for him in that, and they did school a little bit differently than any other music school did, where they was a lot more practical, a lot more hands-on, a lot more teaching you in a way that is going to directly relate to the confusing and challenging music industry and competitive music industry. So I came here and I toured, and yeah, that was exactly what it was. And then about a couple years later, I came down here to go to the songwriting program.
Awesome. So what drew you to country Christian music as your creative lane, and how has that, or your background rather, influenced your style?
Well, my style started off with rock music and then went into rap music. I was not raised Christian. I was secular up until the pandemic, when another podcast I was looking for inspiration to write country music I was just transitioning from rock and rap music to doing country music, because at the time I had a job that was very country and I wasn't really feeling the rap music. It wasn't my thing. So I said, well, let's try country. So I needed some inspiration, so I started watching podcasts, and one of the podcasts was about outdoor stuff, but it also shared the gospel, the faith. It shared testimonies. It shared direct Bible quotes, and that was something I never had seen before. My opinions on Christianity was pretty negative, and I never read the Bible fully. I never heard how it changed people's lives. I just saw negative things about it and stayed away from it. But then this podcast kind of put it together. Oh, that's why people are Christian. That's why. And then just learning more and more about that, researching the things I disagreed with, and that is then just continuously going to actual Bible studies once things opened up again through the pandemic, and going into the every day of service or a mass, whether it was Protestant, Catholic. I went to them all, and just learning more about it. And the more I learned about it, the more I'm like, yeah, this is real. This was not what I was thinking it was. So then I was doing country music, and I decided that there needs to be Christian elements to this, because there's a lot that just isn't, and it wasn't making me feel good anymore. So I moved into the Christian, God-honoring music after that.
Since you kind of came to God through music, was there something specific maybe in your past that you want to share, or just kind of walk us through what that journey looked like for you? Like, how did you get to God in music?
Well, it's a lot, like if you, in the Bible, there's tons of, like, music is really, praise God, it really helps you when you use music to communicate the gospel or to communicate different areas of it and to teach it. It really, and I'm in an internship right now with my church, with my worship pastor, and I'm learning about that, where I thought, oh, it's just, before I thought music was more about entertainment, right? But I've now recently, through the internship, seen that it's every Sunday when you go, these songs are planned to communicate certain things, that if you don't remember the message, you still have the songs in your head, the melodies, and the lyrics in your head, and it'll just get stuck there, and it'll keep on coming back, and then you'll start seeing it as you're reading the Bible, as you're going out through life, you'll start seeing it come out through the songs. Oh, that's what that means, but meanwhile it's been in your head this whole time. And music really does plant ideas in our head, and it validates certain opinions, and it proves certain things. So it's really, music is a lot more powerful than people think. It's a lot more than just entertainment. If the music you're listening to is let's say vulgar, or it says this kind of lifestyle is good when it's destructive lifestyle, that is the lifestyle that I'm going to follow. And that was when I was talking about, I was listening to a lot of more rap music before. I wasn't listening to clean rap music, let's say that, and that was the lifestyle I was emulating. It seeped into I wanted to be seen a certain way, I wanted to be perceived in a certain way, I wanted to like the new cool whatever, and by listening to that music, it really opened a lot of doors and justified a lot of bad behavior that just kept on going down and down. And if it wasn't to the pandemic to stop that all, and then for me to see this podcast, then it just would have kept on going bad in that direction.
Okay. Just as a side note, we actually have a Christian rapper who graduated from the Honors College. He goes by No Big Deal. Have you ever heard of him by chance?
I have not, and that's what I'm not going to say. That's why I mentioned, like, rap music isn't bad in itself.
Yeah.
It's just more about the content of the music I was listening to. It could have been pop music. It could have been the same stylings of the Christian music I'm listening to right now. But the content of it, the lyrical content, was emulating that lifestyle. That is what brought me to those bad places, and that's kind of how Christian music can kind of bring you out, but it has to be mixed in with stuff like the Bible and everything.
Yeah, and I'm not calling you out on your comments on rap music.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I just wondered if you'd ever heard of him, since he came from our Honors College. But
I had not yet. I had to listen to more MTSU music. I have not. I know a few, but yeah.
Okay. Was there a specific moment, song, or experience that kind of marked a turning point in your life?
A turning point, a experience. Well, that's probably when I was watching that original country podcast, I'd say, when I started to kind of realize that, because I was just writing things down to write country songs, words that they would say. It was from the show Duck Dynasty, and that was the only country thing I knew at the time, so I'm like, I need to write these words down and get accustomed to the language and the things that are being said, so I can put them out in the song, kind of as we're talking about the songs emulate the lifestyle, right? It solidifies what's going on. So that's what I was doing subconsciously. But then this other stuff started getting thrown in there, and before you knew it, it was mostly just a Bible study. It wasn't even they weren't even talking about hunting or fishing anymore. It was mainly Bible study. So it was good.
Okay. Well, what drew you to Duck Dynasty then?
Well, that was just a show I watched when I was like a kid. It was on TV all the time, and it was fun to watch. And then the show ended, and it became a podcast and a few other things. And I just went back into that, and I said, well, it's the only country thing I know right now. That seems pretty good to start learning about country music, to start learning about how to write country songs, to just get accustomed with the culture. That was the only thing that I kind of knew about the culture at the time. So I put it on, and that's what drew me to that.
So what kind of stuff were you interested in as a kid? Were you always interested in music, or?
Yes, I was always interested in music. I wrote my first song at like 3 years old. Just naturally, you could hear it and we just do it. It was always something I was interested in. And, I didn't actually pursue it until, like, I always wrote songs, but I didn't actually start learning an instrument till my 12th grade. When I started playing guitar, and I didn't sing or I didn't do anything. So since then, I've been doing a lot of lessons and training and stuff like that. So now I'm at the point where I'm recording and playing shows for the last 2 or 3 years.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Now, you've said that music kind of saved you from that destructive lifestyle. What was that lifestyle like, and how did your faith help you break free from that?
Well, the lifestyle was kind of like, I mean, if you think about it, if you listen to the kind of, that was the lifestyle I wanted to emulate, was the rap, rock star, party lifestyle, very self-seeking, very whatever. There was no moral compass in the sense of, it was whatever was good and whatever was like, that I wanted to do, kind of a thing. That was what was, so it was the drugs, it was, well, that day was alcohol, it was, sexual immorality, and I think that is just, that's the rock star lifestyle, that's the rap. It obviously was not extreme, it probably would have gotten to that extreme, continuing down that path, but that was something that was just in the beginning stages of really getting bad, before I came to God, or God came to me through the podcast and through just like researching it and reading the Bible. And that was stuff that I was into, and everything was the negative effects of that was, it was all my relationships, whether it was with my family or with my friends or whatever. I was choosing the wrong relationships, and I was choosing the wrong ways to behave in those, and it was all self-seeking. How can I become a famous person? How can I become the best? How could I get more of this? How could I get the hottest women? How could I? It was all about me, and what this God has focused me on, the Bible, is making it not about me, and it's a sanctification process. But yeah, it was one of the verses that was really kind of, and this was big because I was deep into trying to self-promote and do a lot of music stuff, and one of the big verses that stuck out for me was James 3:16, for where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice. And that was a lot of my music journey, was just being envious of other people and wanting to be better and wanting to do that. And as a result, that was everything I was surrounded with, was disorder and evil practice, was because that was my ambitions and that was my drive. And now I'm in a stage of turning that and actually trying to follow God and release all the things that I'm holding on to, because another verse is in Proverbs. I'll just open that up here. Why not? We'll do all the verses right now that I have planned, but it's in Proverbs 3, I think, here, and it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body, nourishment to your bones. And that is what will bring you peace and prosperity, it says up there. And that is true, because it was not a peaceful lifestyle. No matter if I succeeded or failed, I felt the same way. And it was the self-seeking and the trying, I'm going to watch this video and then I'm going to know what to do. I'm going to read this thing, I'm going to know what to do. But it was weird because I'd do it. And the people I was trying to impress in the industry or whatever, they're like, okay, now you need to do this. And now you need to read this, and you do more, and you do more, and you do more. And I was seeing other people succeed. And then I'm like, well, I'm doing all this. Why don't you do more? They're not even doing all this. So I was wondering, I was going down this, reading these books, doing all these different things, right? And trying to do it my own way, right? Trying to live life like I knew what I was doing. And it just never worked. But when I just let God do it, go to church, serve at the church, read the Bible, do all that stuff, and not try to have any angles or anything like that, things work out, and I'm much more happier that way. And there are times when I feel like I want to go and do, this happened to me, so therefore I have to, figure it out, read this, how to do this, how to improve on that, put this out, post this, whatever. And it just leads back to that same negative side. So it's very good that trust in the Lord with all your heart. It's just go to church, read the Bible, don't listen to the noise of the world, and they'll find that peace.
I can completely understand where you were coming from. Like, as you're sitting here talking, I'm reminded of an Eminem lyric where he's talking about how Will Smith doesn't have to cuss to sell records, but he does. So your journey and your story is very inspiring in a way that a lot of times even people in the movie industry, they feel this pressure to conform to a certain way, and you are saying, no, I'm going to put my foot down. This is how I feel. This is what I believe, and I love that. So I kind of want to segue a little bit more to your creative process now. You mentioned that you release music regularly. What is your songwriting process like? And I imagine that Faith somehow manages to find a way into your lyrics every time, but I'll let you go more into that.
Well, the songwriting process is changing a little bit more. Like for country music, it would be co-writing with people in Nashville or people here or whatever, and you just write. You get in a room and you would have some ideas saved. You just kind of talk like we're talking right now, and it'd be pretty personal talking sometimes, because that's just with a random person you just met, because that's what it takes to kind of make these songs happen. And then you'd throw out a couple ideas, get some hooks going, something catchy, and then you'd write the song, and you'd base it off of other country songs that were already just popping or whatever, already successful country songs, and you just kind of, and stuff that you like to listen to and the songs that you like, and you'd base it off of that, and you see what you could see. And then now what I'm doing with this internship is a bit different, because that we were making music more for entertainment, relatability. Now we're writing music for our church. So it's to prepare the message that will be preached by our preacher. And there's a lot more to do with that. You have to have certain melodies, like the hymns. Our church really likes hymns. So you have to be, okay, we have to, in order to prepare them to hear the message, to be listening to the song, to be remembering the message throughout the week with the lyrics, we have to have certain melodies here. We have to say certain things here. And we have to make sure that the gospel message is presented in the whole music. Basically, that what our worship pastor said is you have to make sure that if someone were to leave right after the song, before the preacher comes up, they'd have to walk out understanding the gospel if they listen to the lyric. So you have to choose certain songs, but you'll have to write certain songs for specific things. So you're writing a lament song, a song about being having issues, and how God deals with those issues and those tragedies in your life, and how he helps you, how he comforts you. Is it a song of praise? Things are going good, and praising God for what he's given you. And is it a song of, calling out for God, desperation? Is it a song of learning about what God has done for you? And there's very specific things you have to put in there now, and there's more of a structure. So that's the process we're writing now. Is we get in there, take a psalm from the Bible or a verse from the Bible, see if there's anything in there that sticks out, and then we write a song based off of that.
Okay. Let me skip that question because you answered that one already. Is there a particular song that you've written that feels especially personal or powerful to you?
Well, there's a few. These more recently, because like I said before, the songs I was writing during country music those songs that I was writing in country music were very for entertainment. So I like those songs. They're fun songs. They got little witty parts to them. I had a fun time writing them, recording them, performing them. They're fun songs. They're entertainment, right? But now, if we're talking about songs that are helping me on a personal level or a spiritual level, those are the songs that I'm writing now. Where if I'm going through something, I turn to the Bible, and then how I see God working to solve that, or I see what God has done for me in my life, and I write a song based off of that. Or I see something in the church, like a problem that's happening in the church, or a problem that a lot of people are having, including myself, and I use the Bible to explain that, and I write a song, and I'm like, this song helps me remember this. And those are songs I'm writing right now. They haven't been released. I will release them soon. Hopefully put it through, or like have them play on a Sunday with like write them with the people I'm writing with right now, expand on them. And those are the songs that they're not just entertainment. They actually remind me of certain things that I've learned through my life, through being a Christian, through learning more about God. That's how I got through this, or it reminds me that this is of this, or this is of that, and that is what those are the songs that are helping me the most, because I'm sure, hopefully they'll help other people, but they're actually really helping me because it gets me through things. I process things. It reminds me when I go back to that, oh yeah, that's right, I don't need to worry about this because this, and this, you know?
Yeah. So you mentioned previously the Hardy podcast kind of drew you to MTSU. So how has being part of MTSU and the Honors College helped shape your development as a musician and a student?
Well, it is the reason why I'm down here, right? And that's because I'm from Winnipeg, Canada, and that is not close to where the country music is. That's not close to where a lot of the Christian music is happening. And there's a lot of good, really good churches and big churches, but here there's a lot more. It's a lot easier to develop my faith. I wouldn't have, because when I first came down here, it was more about country, more about wanting to get to Nashville, more about wanting to go into that. But through going to my church and just being at MTSU and seeing all the different opportunities they've had, and really got to experience a lot of the music industry through MTSU. There's a lot of really good volunteer opportunities that I've been going to in Nashville. Got to go to the country radio, the seminar, and that was just like 4 days in Nashville, and you get to see all the biggest country artists perform for the radio. You get to see all the labels, how everything works, how everyone's there, and it's just this big event. And the way they teach how the music industry works is really like, I was trying to find out for years how everything was working on my own, and they would just be like, one class be like, okay, there's like, it's not as common knowledge as most people think about, okay, what are the song splits? How do you make a career of being a songwriter? What is a publishing deal? How do you get a good publishing deal? How do you know what to look at, what to look for? And to get the most fair deal, to just, you're just basically immersing yourself in music and in what goes behind it, and you just see it all. And it's just the last 2 years have been developing. And then on the Christian side, just so much churches and so many events and so many pastors, and just going here, going there. We went to Alabama for this training thing. There's just so much opportunities, and it's that has been the biggest. That has been the biggest. And I think for the Honors College, I actually joined the Honors because I wanted a certain history professor, because he was really good at teaching the first American history, because I take American history. I didn't take that in high school because I'm not from America, right? So I took American History 1, and it was really good, but the only class was American History 2 that was taught by him was Honors, so I joined Honors. And I've now been really enjoying being a part of Honors. I'm going to the Honors Library. I read, there's a lot of good, like the classic literature books. I always want to read those, but they're all organized there nicely, because they're here in the library, but they're all spread out, and I don't know what to look for, I don't know what to search for. There I go in there, oh, here's this, here's that. There's a lot of really good options there, and just the difference, I think there's a lot of different, like, involvement with different political, getting the students to vote and stuff like that, and just seeing that all around campus. That got me into an event that was the former vice president was there, and that's how I knew about it, was through the Honors thing. And I went there and I met the former vice president, And it was like, that was my first year here, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. You're not gonna see stuff like that in Winnipeg, right? Like that was just my first year, might have been my second semester here, right? And meeting the Vice President of the United States, wow, that's pretty interesting. That's something that, and they don't have that. I didn't see any other universities that have that. So that was, it's been a pretty good time here. I've had a really good time and really thankful for all these different programs and opportunities. And I'm going to be taking 2 more honors classes. I'm going to be taking one about actually how to do it's the speaking one. It's how to public speak and how to give presentations and interviews and stuff like that. It's going to be honors class, so we can do another one of these after that class and see if there's any difference. See how I've learned anything in that class. But
well, you're doing a great job so far, so I think you'll do well in that class.
Thank you. But and then I'm in another one, the music history honors music history. And I like it because the classes were small. Everyone was participating. We went into the honors building, we sat down, and it was just, there was no messing around. Everyone was very interested in the subjects. Everyone was very participating. They had a lot of participation in the classes, a lot of good discussions, and it was, I got to know my class a lot more than I did when I was in the non-honors history. It was a lot bigger, the non-honors history, and there was not as many engaged students. And I had a lot of friends in honors too, so I got a friend in my class, and now we're going to be roommates. He's moving off campus, so that's just, you make a lot of friends in the honors, then you grow a lot of friendships because things are a lot more common interests, and people who are actually engaged in the class versus I have to take this class, whatever, it's you're gonna find a lot more common interests if you're interested in that kind of stuff, and that's what I like about. And it's shaped me just in making connections and growing in that, and a lot of the faith is living it out with other people and learning, and that's what the honors school has helped me do, and it's made things a lot more enjoyable and easier for me in college.
We've mentioned that specific class and that you wanted that professor specifically, so shout out to that professor. Who is it?
Brady Hawley.
Okay. Yeah. For anybody interested in a good history class, Brady Hawley.
Great history guy, yeah.
So as someone studying both songwriting and entrepreneurship, how do you balance creativity with the music or the business side of music?
The business side of music. Well, so you said how do you balance the creative with the business? Was that?
Yeah.
Well, it's difficult. I don't think anybody really likes the business unless you are going into business. I think it's either you're business minded or you're creative minded, and you just have to learn the other one. A lot of people who are business minded go into the business side of music, but they have to learn creative elements because you can't just be all numbers when you're working in a creative industry. Now, when you are a creative, you can't just be all creative and not understand the business side, not understand what people want and how people would, because that's what it comes down to in the end. And this is how I balance it, is the business is what people want, and then you give that to them. And that's there's the technicalities, but what MTSU is doing is it's teaching me all the technical stuff, right? So you know that, you have that, and then you know, but what it also does is it gives you people who really do know that. So if you do have a question about the technical business side, you can contact them. And that's the professors have been really helpful with that and helping me sort that out. But as far as creative goes, it's what are we creating for, and let's best do that. And that's where looking at right now, is how to provide the value, and it just naturally through that comes to fruition. And that's basically going back to this, is the business side is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. That's how I take care of the business side.
Okay. So if somebody listening is struggling with purpose or is stuck in a dark place, what do you want them to know based on your experience?
Everything comes from God. That's good. And if you want to experience the freedom from any depression, anxiety, any addiction, any sadness, any controversy, any arguments, basically any negative thing, it's in the Bible. It's the relationship with God. And I think there's a lot of the cultural stuff that the cultural Christianity has put people away from this, has cut people off from thinking about it or trying it or going into relationship with Christ. Like the cultural stuff, the negative stuff, this bad thing happened to me, that bad thing happened to me at church, or I've seen someone say this negative thing, or I have this opinion or that opinion. Or on the other end, I'm too far gone, I can't. But it says in the Bible, no one is too far gone. And I've seen people who are way worse than I was, and they through the Bible have gotten into again, they have that peace. You get that peace that you can't get anywhere else. Nothing else, no drug, no fame, no relationship will give you that. Only this, and just doing what it says in there will give you that. And that is the advice. And I wish I had that advice a long time ago, because that would have, we'd be a lot farther. We didn't have to go through a lot of things that I went through. It would have been a lot smoother. But that is everything comes from God, and it's just choose. We could choose to accept it, or we could choose to not.
Yeah, one of the verses that I'm reminded of that I think of often, I guess, and I don't know why, but if the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you. And that, I think, would resonate even with people who aren't religious. I mean, yep. To me, there's so many things in the Bible that can resonate, even if you're not a religious person. So what are your hopes for your music going forward, and do you have any big projects coming up?
The hopes for my music going forward, I'm going into the ministry, and that is worship leading, possibly preaching, and still writing songs for my church, and helping releasing songs to other people. It's going to be a lot more collaboration than I've done in the past. And I think it's going to be a lot more fun. It's going to be a lot less, I need to do this, to do that. Is just trusting in God. Here are these musicians, here are these guys that are here, we're doing it, we're willing to do it, we're going to do it together, and release songs as they come. We're going to be writing songs right now for our church to perform, or to show on Sunday, to put them on the display them on Sunday, and to see where that goes. Maybe recording them, maybe having other churches, if they're good, do that. But it's just wherever God takes me at this point, that's where we're going. That's what we're doing. That's
wonderful. So to kind of wrap everything up, is there somewhere where people can find your music or follow your journey that you want to share?
Well, I am on Spotify. I have a Spotify. My country artist name, because I'm from Eastern Manitoba, is Alex Eastman. And you can, on Spotify, on Apple Music. That's my older country music. I recently released a song called God Family Country, and it's about my time being down here and having the faith journey down here and experiencing the the culture and how all the Christianity that led me into, going to church more and developing my faith. And then I also have some more fun kind of songs that are more like traditional country. I'm getting away from that now, but they're still on there, and you can check them out at Alex Eastman Country.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for your time and coming to talk with me.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for having me. Some great conversation.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Honors Spotlight. We hope you enjoyed getting to know the people, passions, and stories that make the MTSU Honors College so unique. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share the podcast with others. You can also follow the Honors College on social media to stay up to date on future episodes and events. To learn more about honors at MTSU, visit honors.mtsu.edu. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep being extraordinary.